Like I know, and this is family stuff, but my grandfather had outside children.
Okay.
We never knew that.
Mm-mm.
We didn't know that until my grandmother died.
Right.
When we opened the book, she was
Common for
taking care of those kids with a book where she wrote down how much money she sent the mother. But it never came out. It was never spoke of. Now it's so common. That's the daddy over here. This is that. It's no respect. And like you said, integrity. What we do inside our home is our business. And what you take outside allows people to be in your business.
That's right.
All right, y'all, listen. We are back. This is a special show for me for a lot of different reasons. I got a couple people here that y'all know. Y'all been seeing them on the show. That's EDubs After Dark. Y'all know we already back. That's on Total Define Entertainment. We ain't hard to find. We on YouTube. That's an association with Great Creations. Y'all see she in the building today. I got her, Caretha Moore, the proprietor of the business. Always Best Care Senior Living, Dr. Brian Green. We thank him for all of the support he shows, not only the company, but at the same time, in real time, with Great Creations and the support that he shows them and my grandkids. So I love it. Then I had my girl, Nikki. You already know she's from earlier episodes. We did the Diddy episodes. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Directly how they felt about the dossier, the documentary, and all of the things that happened and transpired since that day that we talked to y'all last, right? Now, this other person, this is crazy because it's almost like a reunion. We talking about a person that I grew up with. I'm talking about we were kids. And to have her here today, live and in person, this is the first time I'm seeing her in years, y'all. So this was mind-boggling when I got this DM yesterday and she said, I would love to be on the show. I thought she was really shitting me. I ain't gonna lie. So to have her here today, my girl T, listen, I humbly appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you so much. Tell us what you've been up to, what's going on with you, and I'll just let you fill in the blanks and then we'll go from there. We're gonna get right into the show, y'all.
Oh wow, what I've been up to. Healing and growing.
Beautiful.
Healing and growing.
Beautiful.
Evolving, reinventing,
Okay.
Coming from a space or a place where I was so broken.
Okay.
And, having to just kind of take that time away and kind of just deal with myself.
Okay.
And here I am.
Yeah.
So
kudos to you.
Growing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we don't realize, right, y'all? When we have these conversations and we talk to y'all, as we do on EDubs After Dark, we get intimate, we get personal, we talk about things that most people don't want to talk about. And I always talk about, as I talk to you guys on, whatever the case may be, and we talk about mental health, what that looks like, healthy relationships, bonding with your kids, not trying to be their friend. All of these things that we're going to touch in these new upcoming episodes of EDubs After Dark, you're seeing in real time this panel that's going to share with me certain things that I might not even know everything about, because there is no blueprint to life. We're living it in the existence that we stand on right now. So that being said, we're going to get right into the show and we're going to talk about something that everybody know. And, we all think we know everything about it, right? And that's relationships, right? And we had some conversations in the green room that we had a discussion about, and one of the things that we touched on, which was being in a relationship with someone. But all of a sudden now that relationship, whether it's been a long-standing one or something that just doesn't go as well as you expected, so it ends earlier, how do we, and I can speak for myself and experience, but how do we carry those relationships into future or present time? And how do you guys feel about that, dealing with somebody that you dealt with, knowing that you're going to have to see this person? Because not only do you have a relationship with them with kids, but you still have a relationship with them in a place where you can either friend zone them or you just totally tell them to kick rocks. So individually, how do you guys feel about that? We'll start with you, Caretha.
That's a hard one because, again, we talked in the green room about communication.
Fact.
I think that if we set clear parameters, then it decides which way you go. I think a lot of us, excuse me, and we're all guilty of it, women and men, we tend to put everything on men, but women are guilty of that too. You have to say how you feel, and when they say what you say and mean what you say, it has to go that way. You can't have a gray area. So I think the communication part of it, and when you make a decision, we may not be good for each other. You may be a perfect person, but not for me.
Right.
And sometimes you have to come to that realization instead of still trying to beat a dead horse. you may be great. You're a wonderful person, but maybe not for Caretha.
Right.
So therefore, you have to be honest and say that, not just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because that's the reality. We see red flags, and red flags are not always bad things. Red flags can be, we're not compatible. You may not be family oriented, but I am.
Right.
You may not be the parent that I am, but I'm 1,000 over mine. So that becomes problems, because you're not understanding. When my daughter called at 2:00 in the morning, I'm getting up and I'm talking to her. Some people say, don't answer the phone. Go to bed. She call you tomorrow. Right. So I think the communication part of understanding, and the biggest thing is accepting people for who they are.
Right.
And we talked about that too, where I'm glad you said that and you brought that out, which is, I always say, if someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? Because I'm one of those folks, I have a difficult time with seeing somebody and they're standing on something, but then all of a sudden, when that narrative changes and it's not working for them, now you see the real them. You see what it really is hitting for. So when we talk about this, and now we'll turn it to you, Nikki, and we talk about either friend zoning someone or really just saying, you know what, I'm just done with this person altogether. You know, especially when you still have to somewhat share space with them at some particular time, how comfortable or uncomfortable are you with that as time moves on?
Well, coming up, I was uncomfortable with doing it because I didn't know where my space was.
Okay.
Now, you take it for what it is, right then and there, and don't think nothing more or less.
Okay.
If you come into a situation where you still have to share that space with a person, I think just be cordial. You know, I think just be yourself.
Yeah.
And don't make it uncomfortable like most women and men make it uncomfortable for the other person so that they can shine or so that they can maintain in their hot spot or their light,
their space,
whatever.
Yeah.
But, you just take it for who they are right then and there, and that was part of the thing where we grow up and be knowledgeable of who we are as a person, where you get that confidence when you come in contact with that person.
Yeah.
Or, you have to make that person a friend, or you just have to leave them altogether.
Yeah. And that's funny that we talk about that, right? Because, nobody know what that looks like, right? Because I always say, I can't walk in any of these individual shoes, and they can't walk in mine. And I think that's the respect that we have to have for one another when you start making judgments about what someone else's situation looks like or what you think it may look like. Well, if you're not walking in their shoes to know what they're dealing with on an everyday basis, and I'll go back to something that we talked about in the green room, which was, if I'm asking one of these ladies, hey, how was your day? If I don't really stand on that, and I'm not really asking them personally how they really are, then why am I asking?
Right.
Because if you don't mean it, don't just say it. Because I got a quote here from a great friend of mine, and I want to read this quote before I actually bring her into the fold on this conversation that we're having right now. It's time to stop worrying about what others think about us and focus on what we think of ourselves. Just take that in for a minute. I want y'all to really absorb that. Again, I'm going to read this to y'all. It's time to stop worrying about what others think about us and focus on what we think of ourselves. So with all that being said, my girl T, listen, you right here, and we're going to give you the same question. If you're in a relationship and you have someone that you've been intimate with, you done did all of these different things with, but now it's come to a point where you have to make that ultimate decision. Do I tell them, listen, I can't do this no more and we just going to keep it moving? Or do we keep that friendship enough to be able to, if you have kids, to be able to raise these kids together and still be cordial enough to be able to make it look like it's supposed to look?
Well, I think for me, it's about boundaries. So kind of piggybacking off of what Caretha said.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Like you can't change a person. You can't change who they are. Or, even the relationship or the things that you went through with that person. The only person you can change is yourself, right?
That's a fact.
So it's about me setting those boundaries. Yes, we had that relationship, but here we are. That's not our relationship.
Anymore.
We can be friends.
Mm-hmm.
We can be, hey, how are you today? And I might not talk to you for 2 weeks later. You have to set those boundaries, and I don't have a problem with it. I can't think of one person that I have had some type of relationship with that I can't be in the same room with, right? Because it's up to me, right? It has nothing to do with what we had. It's what we have now or what we don't have now,
Yeah.
who I am now,
Right.
what I will tolerate,
Right.
what I'm willing to give,
Yeah.
what I'm not willing to give.
Yeah.
So it doesn't faze me, if that makes sense.
No, and I'm glad you touched on that, because that's one of the things that we talked about too, y'all, like behind the scenes, which was experiences with life, right? And what that looks like in real time. Understanding the dynamic of, as you get older, things that you would once tolerate as a younger person, and you got to a point where you experience some things now where you say to yourself, oh, no, I'm not going for the okie doke.
Right.
Again, so we know what we want, how we want it, and to be able to navigate that somewhat a little bit better than maybe the 20-year-old us or the 25-year-old us, we have to take that and really gravitate to it, because as you get older and things start to really slow down for you, you process things a whole lot differently than you did in your 20s, your 30s, or even your 40s. Because, I mean, I ain't going to front. I'm a senior now. I'm 55. Well, actually, I'm 57, but I'm past 55, y'all.
He's sitting by himself.
No, and I'm not going to share my ladies' ages. Not at all. But I just say that to say it's weird, because like we was talking about, like I said, in the green room, and we saying that to ourselves in real time, like, I wish I knew the things I know now back then, because, but again, and we talked about it because we're all religious people. We're God-fearing individuals. So we know it's all within God's speed, right? Am I lying? Or
true. Because you don't have the control. God has the control.
Exactly.
And I think going to, what T said about boundaries, I think that we've learned to love ourselves.
That's right.
Learn to know your worth. I was at an event last night and a lady got honored, and she, they said give a few words, and something stood out. She said, "It's a privilege to be around me." So when she said that, you could take that as cocky, but it's a reality.
No, that is.
If I let you in my proximity of me,
because she knows she did the work.
That's right.
She knows she did the work, not the physical work, but the work within herself.
Right.
And she know what she know. She know what she had worked for.
Yes.
She know where she come from and where she is right now.
Right.
And the knowledge and wisdom that she have to offer. It's a privilege.
It's a privilege.
So
it's
why not be able to say
and I think we sometimes like they say, use that word, dumb yourself down. I don't think we always realize our worth.
No, that's a fact. And I think me and Ree talked about that a lot too, because when you walk into a room, the kind of charisma you bring to the table, what your character is. So I'm not going to put myself in a position where I feel like I have to change who I am when I walk into these rooms with folks, because if I have to do that, then I shouldn't be in that room. And I want to point that out to a lot of you young folks, right, who may have insecurities about when you step into these rooms and you're rubbing elbows with different people with different personalities, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. And I might have messed that up, but ethnic groups meaning different colors. So with that being said, you have to know your worth, as Caretha just said, to feel comfortable to step in those rooms and say, hey, listen, I'm bringing my own presence where y'all going to feel me regardless if I'm talking a whole lot or I ain't saying much of nothing. And that's the part that I think, when we sit here and we talk about these things, and I want to touch on something real quick, and I thought this was dope too, because me and T talked about this. Now, with relationships, and we're going to stick to this for a minute before we get to this Diddy thing, because I want to hear their perspective on that. But I want to know, do you have to reinvent yourself? This is going to be something, y'all, because I want to hear this specifically. Do you have to reinvent yourself when you get into a new relationship with somebody and you know what you've already dealt with in the past? So if those warning signs, like Caretha says, some flags, not all red flags, are the ones you just say, I'm shutting it down. Right. But how do you guys bounce back from relationships that you've been in from a woman's perspective, y'all? Because I can tell y'all my shit. But from your perspective, getting into a whole new relationship, dealing with someone new, and how do you carry that out without bringing your old baggage into the new situation?
I feel like you have to, that's a learned behavior. Because what I've learned, and this is a real experience, men and women are the same in a lot of capacities. Doesn't mean we all the same, but we have a lot of the same characteristics. So when you've been in a bad relationship or a failed relationship, you tend to hold on to all the failed things. So if Johnny raises his voice, oh, I'm not taking it, you will not raise your voice. Well, maybe it's a scene where he needed to. It's not the same raising a voice where maybe you were in a physical relationship, abusive or whatever.
Right.
I think that you have to take people for who they are and be able to accept the things that come with them. Just like as a woman, you may be the same. We talk a lot. Some men don't like that.
Yeah.
Some men feel like, and I can honestly say that my person feels like women should stay, not to say in a woman's place, but it's a respect level.
Real quick, I just want to chime in on that because I heard something on Joe and Jada's shirts. Tamara Braxton was on, if I'm saying her name right, Tamara, whatever it is, the youngest baby of the Braxtons, right? And she said something. She said she didn't want a weak guy. She wanted somebody that was more of an aggressive guy, meaning if he say sit down, I know what that looks like when he say sit down.
Right.
I don't want a yes man. I don't want somebody that I could tell what to do. And she said it has nothing to do with my money, my fame. Just command that room and let everybody know that you wearing the pants, even though I'm the breadwinner. Because a lot of men, and let's be real, and I know this in real time, if the woman's making more money and she's doing the most, all of a sudden you feel inferior, so you feel like you got to stick your chest out to Broad Street. No, just play your part.
And to not cut you off, I think I can relate to that a lot because I kind of see my family dynamics in the Braxtons because they're a family of females, of women, you know, and I understand 100% what she's saying. Like, I don't care how much money you make.
Yeah.
I don't care where you come from, what you're doing, what position you're in. I'm a woman. I have this, I was taught to take care of myself.
Yes.
Out of necessity. There was no men around.
Yeah.
There were no, my mother was our mother and our father. She raised all her girls on her own. So we had to, she had to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had to learn to do those things that is known for men to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I grew up independent.
Yeah.
I grew up, I can take out my own trash.
Yeah.
I can pay my own bills.
Yeah.
I can do these things for myself that a lot of women look for men to do. So if I'm
Do y'all hear
allowing
this?
you,
Do y'all hear this? This is dope.
So if I'm allowing you to come into my space as a man,
Yeah, space.
as a man, I expect you to be the man.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
I don't need, so if you want me to be in my feminine energy, you need to be the man.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear the pants.
And I'm glad
I
you
don't
said
want
that
to.
too, because
Yeah.
and Nikki, before you go, I want to say this to all of these fans and audience of ours. Again, that's on Total Define Entertainment. That's EDubs After Dark. You already know I'm on YouTube. I'm Eastax Doe on Instagram. I'm Eric Frazier on Facebook. I ain't hard to find. And again, like my man Knox always say, hit that notification bell because when you do, we appear. Voila. But again, getting back to what the ladies was just talking about, and even more particular what T just said, right? You have to understand your role, because that was something that me and Karita always talked about. Like, her bills was getting paid before me and her got together.
That's right.
So it was never a question of what I needed to do. It's about what you're going to do, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Figuring out what your role is. Because it's easy to step on somebody's toes and say you're going to do something. But if you ain't going to be as consistent as that person is actually being, then you're actually saying something that you're incapable of doing. So that's why I said to you ladies about reinventing yourself for someone who now comes into the picture that might match your energy, might match your finances. But at the same time, it's that one element that's left out. They don't communicate. They can't figure it out. If I ain't holding their hand, they don't know where to go. So again, Nikki, how does that look for you?
So what that would look like to me is, how much would you accept that? Will you accept that? If it's that one and everything else works, and you just got that one, like, that's not, I don't know. That's going to take me back, or it's going to take me back to my past, or I've seen that before.
Right, that part.
You have to be real with yourself as a woman. Am I willing to go through this again?
Right.
Or how bad? Are you
Because you
willing
know
to
what it
stay
looks
in
like.
it? Right.
Yeah.
Or are you going to stay in it and see how bad is it? Like,
Yeah.
it might just be a front just because you just, whatever that moment went. It might not be the real thing for
And here's the thing for me, right? Like, we have some intelligent, beautiful black women sitting on this panel today. And what I mean by that is a lot of times men, we come into the picture where we got this big bag of bravado, but it's no problem. It's no problem with saying, I can actually stay right over here and she can still shine without me having to be all in the front. Because a lot of men are intimidated by successful women, which is unfortunate. I love it because I know what my place is at this point because I got more years behind me than I do in front of me.
Mhm.
So I don't try to make it look like something that it's not. Because at the end of the day, it takes a village, y'all. And I mean raising a family, being in business, understanding the logistics of life from the perspective of, I want us all to win.
Right.
Not from it being about me, not being about anything else. We got grandkids now. So for us to be able to put that lineage where we want it to be moving forward, we want them to see in real time how we as a blended family continue to grow. And that's why I said relationships are very, very crucial to how we deal with people, because your folks are looking at you a certain way because they look at you as the leader. So, how do we deal with that?
Now, to piggyback off of that, I think a lot of times when you talk about ego, I think the people that you surround yourself with plays a big part.
That's a fact.
Because what you allow or what's good for you, like T or Nikki, you may say, you want to stand up man. You want somebody to control the atmosphere.
Right.
But here come Caretha that doesn't want that type of situation.
Right.
Now I'm judging you and I'm saying stuff.
Right.
So now you get into a situation where you have to prove something to me. And a lot of us do that for image purpose. Like your man can come in and say, Nikki, let's go. Girl, he telling you let's go. We ain't ready to go yet. That changes the whole mood. Instead of you staying in your place, see you later, Nikki. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Right.
Go ahead, because you know that's your situation.
Exactly.
And I think we sometimes get caught in what other people feel like or what they think it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know, you may have a person that's an introvert.
Right.
You may have a
that's a
person
fact.
that does not like to go out.
Right.
That
That's right.
you may
Yeah,
have
that's
a person that
really.
about the bills, where he may say, "T, we not spending $200 on dinner tonight.
You know-
That's not what we doing."
And I'm glad Caretha said that because, like, I think when we talk about that, right, and not naming names, but if certain people don't show up to certain things or they don't move the way you move, there's no judgment there because that's them. That's who they are. That's their personality. That's their character.
Right.
And you have to accept that. And I think when people realize that energy that you bring or that vibration, it allows them to feel comfortable in spaces where normally, am I being judged just because I don't go the way that you go or I'm not doing the things that you do? No. If I love you that much, I don't care about none of that stuff.
Right.
I'm more worried and focused on you and what that looks like in real time.
And that's when you get on yourself and you have to stand by that.
Yeah,
Because
for real.
people know their triggers.
Right.
Like me, I know the type of person I am. I know that lifestyle, I adapt to that.
Right.
So certain things I can't do in a relationship because I know where it's going to take me.
Yeah.
You being at the club, you being at the bar, I like that. I love it. And I'm going to be honest, I love it. But what does that swing to? Hee, ha, ha. A drink here, a phone number here. You sitting, doing things that you know, it pulls you.
Yeah.
Next week, I want to be out again. Oh, you was at the fish fry. Oh, girl, I'm going to the next fish fry.
No,
so
that's
you
a
know
fact.
that when it's going to be a problem for your relationship in your life, you have to step back. Whether it's relationship with your man or your children, your people are looking at you. Like one day I had on this cat suit, I was going somewhere. It's funny. My grandmother said, "Oh, they gonna laugh at you."
Mind you, y'all, she 55 cat suit.
So I said they gonna laugh at me. She said, "Oh, yeah, I don't like what you have on." But in my mind, I'm laughing. But as a 4-year-old, she's looking at you because you look like what Superman, like Wonder Woman. She's looking at it like it's a costume.
Yeah.
So when you say that, you got to start thinking like, I am 55. Well, maybe I shouldn't have that on. Well, maybe you should have on a short shirt. So it's different things when you're around people, and as you grow, you have to be with people that are growing with you.
Right.
And it's funny, I'm glad you said that before I let the other two ladies go, and we're going to then jump into something that I thought was pretty dope too. But that's funny because we have to understand we have people that look at us, right? And if you're the forefront of your family and our immediate family, me and Ree know it's a certain way we need to carry certain situations because of our daughter, because of our grandkids, because of our blended family and the way that looks. We don't play no games with trying to sugarcoat, trying to be friends. No. If this is what it is, T said it off script, it is what it is. So you have to live with those decisions. And let's just do this. Are all of those things that we decide or we talk about always right? No. I'm wrong a lot. But I'm willing to accept that and talk it out with people that can see it from a whole other perspective and say, E, I'm going to tell you something that I did with mine, so maybe this will help you in your situation. So we're all different, but at the same, we're still all fighting the same battle. So never feel like you're alone. And I want people to gravitate to this because that anxiety that you build up, it's only stress. And stress is the number one killer of us all. So for me, health is wealth, right? And because of that, I want to be able to share with people that I know that understand exactly what that looks like in real time because they're living the same exact way I'm living. No different. Nobody's judging. But we know it takes, again, like I said, y'all, a village to raise what we consider today in this fast-paced world, and we know how things are. We can engage without having phones and being on the computer and doing all of these things because we were here before that. So now to be living it right now and seeing it in our kids where the phones, they talking across the table. They ain't talking. They actually texting. So it just blows my mind. And I just told T this last night. I hate texting. So I want to ask y'all that. If you could give me 3 elements of a relationship, and then we're going to move on to the Diddy thing. But if it's 3 relationships, and Marquita, I'm going to chime you in on this too. 3 relationships, 3 things of a relationship that are key to longevity, openness, and trust. What would you consider to be the biggest 3 that will keep you with someone or shelve you to be out of their life? Because we got, again, let's talk about it, y'all. Trust, communication,
and accountability.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you need.
It.
And sometimes
communication.
Communication.
Yeah, I think for me,
true, not absent communication. You got some things that's absent communication, like body signs or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the other person, you be like, "What's wrong, babe? How can I help you?"
Right.
Or is something wrong? And we supposed to know what that means. We don't know what that means. Open verbal communication
with no judgment.
Real, with no judgment.
Yeah, and I think that's the key because we all come from different shades of what relationships look like, and that's why I'm asking you girls in real time. Like, what do you really value for your relationships that you've either been in or are in? Because if you know you can't stand that, we got to talk about it. Let's be real.
I think for me, it's communication. Of course, we can all agree on that. Action, because action, there's accountability.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you're taking that action, you're being held accountable. You're taking accountability, right? And then integrity, because we can fight like cats and dogs behind closed doors. We can disagree all day long behind closed doors. I don't care about that. I care about what you take out there.
That's right.
I care about that.
And how you carry me.
Her dad would tell us that all the time.
Is watching.
I had the perfect
Let's be on the same page, even if we're not.
I had the perfect relationship with
Let's be on the same page, even if we're not.
Right.
And then come back and put me in my place. Check me if you need to.
See, and that goes back to, not cut you off, T, that goes back to when we said our parents and our grandparents before us.
That's right.
It was a different type of situation. Yep. Like, I know, and this is family stuff, but my grandfather had outside children.
Okay.
We never knew that. We didn't know that until my grandmother died. Right. When we opened the book, she was taking care of those kids with a book where she wrote down how much money she sent the mother. But it never came out. It was never spoke of. Now it's so common. That's the daddy over here. This is that. It's no respect. And like you said, integrity. What we do inside our home is our business. And what you take outside allows people to be in your business.
That's right.
And what do we say? And this means something me and T talked about discussing our topics for today's, show. But we talked about that, right? Like, if we're incapable of sharing or exposing something to someone without them either feeling a type of way or getting all in their feelings and understanding in real time, I'm really just trying to befriend you to help you whatever that mental strain that you're dealing with at that moment. Not about getting into your business or trying to figure out who you sleeping with or who you dealing with. No, I'm more concerned about you as the individual because that's my first thought process. Hey, how are you really doing? What does that really look like? Because people aren't willing to share because, again, we already know this for facts. People only know what you tell them. Right. So be careful in choosing how you choose to talk to certain people because everybody that say they're your friend ain't your friend.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? If it don't look like this for me, I'm not doing a whole lot of engaging because I know how it's been, where it's gotten to, and what it looks like moving forward because again, you've already shown me 1,000,000 times what it looks like. You ain't got to keep showing me for me to understand that, listen, again, I might have was born at night, but not last night.
Right.
So listen, before we get out of here, because we're going to take a break, we're going to come back to y'all. Again, this is on YouTube, Total Define Entertainment. We're going to touch back on this whole reckoning that 50 Cent put out about Diddy. I got to talk to the girls about it because I want to hear from their perspective. Just dealing with this in real time. Now he's on Papoose and Clarissa Shields. It's just amazing how he trolls. But I just want to hear when we dealing with this right now in real time, like just to get their opinion on, as Nikki know and Karitha know, but now, Tyra's here. And I want her to speak on that too, because I said we all have our own opinion about what we feel about certain things. Was that documentary necessary? Did 50 Cent take it too far? How do y'all feel about what it's going to look like for him coming out of prison? So again, this is your boy EDub. I'm always after dark. Total Defined Entertainment. I'm on YouTube. I got my girl Tara with me today. I've got my girl Nikki, my girl Karitha. I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We'll be right back. Peace.